YouTube, how are you doing? Facebook, we'll be going live soon. How are you guys doing? Hope everyone is doing well. Ready? We're good? Good on Facebook, YouTube, Facebook, how are you? There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, proof day trading is for suckers and how you cannot be this sucker and how to avoid it completely. I am Mark Melnick, and this is the Newsbeat Show. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newsbeat Show. So, if you're reading this title, you're probably thinking to yourself, where's Mark going with this? And what is this proof he is talking about? So, we got a very nice answer from Tiago Cavalcante. He's a PhD from the University of Illinois who works for the Sao Paulo in Brazil School of Economics. And a very interesting report came out today. Regarding day traders and is day trading really for suckers? And look, I know this headline is definitely going to piss some people off, and good. I really hope it does. Not in the terms where you want to go outside and kick a baby or kick a tree or, kick something that you shouldn't, but get you pissed off to the point where you can finally get angry at the stupidity and wrong moves that you are doing as a day trader. So ultimately, this video is here to help you. This video is not here whatsoever to just point out and bash day trading. Considering I'm day trading for 20 years, it would be kind of interesting that those kind of words would be coming out of my mouth. But there was a study that came out, and of course, we've all heard the rumors and everything that 98% of day traders fail, and 97% of day traders fail, 96% of day traders fail. And the funny thing is, if you go to the majority of active trading brokerages out there, these numbers will hold their own salt. They will hold their own salt, meaning that the majority of people who are actively trading do tend to fail. Everybody knows this. But we also know that stuff we read on the internet, maybe even this video you're watching right now, comes at this great fountain of disillusionment, fantasy, misinformation, and fake news. And the internet makes it really hard to believe anything. Yet we can't really live without it. I mean, if you're day trading, you're connected to the internet. If you're connected to the internet, you're hearing things like this. So it's kind of funny how these things happen. And I just want to talk about too often some of the things that come out in terms of, we're going to talk first of all about the symbiotic relationship between brokers and educate people who sell either education, courses, etc. And it's not really easy for a broker to call out a trading educator as a fraud or a phony. You must understand that they actually rely on each other, and it's a symbiotic relationship, meaning that it's a dual beneficial relationship for both sides. And the broker, although brokerages, from my experience, they can't stand scammers, those same brokerages still rely upon them to bring in the opening, for example, of new trading accounts, or the grinding wheel always needs the grease. The honest brokers that have been in business for many years, they all know the truth, yet they'll never admit it. And the truth is very simple. The higher the frequency of your trading, the higher the likelihood that you will lose everything. I'm going to repeat it and making it as simple as possible. The more you trade, the less likely you will earn money. Does that sound harsh? Does it hurt your ears to hear me say that? But many will say, of course, Mr. Melnick, where is the evidence? I look on the internet and, Ponytail Boy and Lambo Boy are making millions of dollars from that $500 trading account they open. Well, Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Ponytail and Lambo Boy are making millions from selling hyped up magical trading indicators and front running your trades the majority of the time. And let's be clear, I am not accusing anyone of committing a crime here. The real crime here, actually, is the self inflicted stupidity that consumers afflict upon themselves. They inflict this stupidity upon themselves because they're willing to swallow the BS. And I am here to just spell it out for you and then, of course, teach you how to avoid it. But if I don't spell it out for you, you'll never get there. So, regardless, let's look at some of the most comprehensive and at least current data that suggests what I am saying here, that actively day trading on and on and on is a scam, and how you can actually profit from that and avoid that. We'll talk about that after. So, if you didn't know, we're talking about a report that came out of the Sao Paulo School of Economics. People, when they leave the United States, they tend to be really into futures and forex. In Brazil, people are really into day trading futures. In fact, um, the Brazilian E-mini futures contract is 300% more popular than the ultra popular E-mini S&P 500 futures contract here. Yet the population of Brazil, if you did not know, is a little less than 40% that of the US. There's about 120 million people in Brazil and 320 million people here in the United States. But just like in the US and other English-speaking countries, the Brazilian futures industry is filled with nearly identical quacks, wackadoodles, ponytails, and Lamborghini peddling all manner of indicator insanity. These amazing trading systems. Look at my results. And social media day trading hucksters. And in fact, many, many many of the people, of course, in Brazil, Portuguese being the number one language in Brazil, followed by Spanish. But to me, it's the same BS, different language. People really are the same. It doesn't really matter the color of your skin, or the language used, or the minor differences in weight, height, appearance. We're all the same. Our motivations are especially similar. We all need resources to survive, and we all labor the same, eat the same protein, study the same math books, and dream the same dreams. We all want an opportunity to succeed because, you know, so this study actually first came out on August 19th, 2019. The Sao Paulo School of Economics published this very highly controversial study about futures traders in Brazil. And this published study made front page news, believe it or not, across the country. You wouldn't have known that unless you were living in Brazil. Literally, nearly everybody in Brazilian society was talking about the study. Day trading in Brazil is extremely popular and extremely controversial. It's like soccer. And on the one end of the spectrum were the brokers, the educators, the software providers, the soothsayers, the indicator gypsies that have all been hyping and profiting from the industry for many years. And on the other end of the spectrum were the scientific community, including scientists, economists, data scientists, and whatever. And let's just say that the scientific community in this case was in the extreme minority. And the scientific community was extremely skeptical of many claims of people getting rich quick, which of course would raise bells for anybody. And the constant television and internet ads that promise day trading glory and work for home, and you could earn this much a week today, and look what this person did, and look at this testimonial and whatnot. So I just thought we would crunch down to the numbers of this study, and then I'm going to teach you how to avoid it, but you must understand where the problem is. If I just approached this to you and gave you the answer, you're like, Mr. Melnick, why not just give me the answer? Because it wouldn't resonate with you. I need these talks to resonate with you. You need to understand the truth behind the numbers before you're actually going to succeed as a trader. So, the Sao Paulo School of Economics commissioned a study that tracked a total of 19,646 day traders from earlier on from 2013 through 2015, and the data was broken down into bite-sized chunks to better understand the data. It's funny when you would say, well, why not 2017 to 2019 if you're going to take a couple of years, because it takes a lot of data mining and studies to actually see the results of these things. So, the first group of traders had 1,111 individuals that day traded only a single day. Does anybody want to take a guess what percentage of that group profited? They had 1,111 individuals that day traded only a single day. What percentage of them do you think profited? One day. You're insane, Aiku. All right, almost 30%, 29.8% achieved a profit on that first day. The second group of day traders, which was 9,978 individuals, day traded between 2 and 50 days. Quite a spread, between 2 and 50 days. Of this group, 15.5% of them achieved a profit. The third group of day traders, which was 3,100 individuals, day traded between 51 and 100 days. Of this group, 8.9% of them achieved a profit. The fourth group of day traders totaled 2,738 individuals. Notice the longer you trade, the smaller the sample size, obviously. The fourth group of traders, 2,738 of them traded between 101 and 200 days. Of this group, 6.8% of them achieved a profit. The fifth group of traders, which was 1,168 individuals, and believe me, this is important, so just listen, traded between 201 and 300 days. Of this group, 5.4% of them achieved a profit. And finally, the last group of traders, 1,151 individuals, they traded greater than 300 days, more than 300 days, some of them even into today. And of that group, 3% actually achieved the profit. So, what is the data that I shared with you? What is it actually suggesting? Ironically, the data that ironically, the data that I shared with you is suggesting that the odds of achieving day trading success is nearly identical to playing roulette at a casino. Going back to my the last casino video I did, which I shared my $100,000 trade idea and how it panned out. The more you play, the greater likelihood that you will lose everything. The scientists were particularly surprised, this was done by social scientists, were particularly surprised to discover that learning played nearly no part in the results. For instance, it was assumed that if a person had traded 6 months and did more than 200 trades, that they would learn to trade better or improve upon their trading strategies to achieve greater success because they were learning from experience. And this is just what the trading educators, myself included, want all of us to believe that we need to learn, and over time, this learning will improve our results. But the data absolutely destroyed these assumptions that I even had myself. And in fact, the more a person learned to trade, the worse their performance became. It's almost like practice makes perfect does not work in day trading, at least in this Brazilian study regarding, the futures market, for example. But this is not even about the futures market. It's just used as an example there. This is really trading in general. And we do know that some people, through skill or luck or a combination of both, are going to indeed achieve success. So I want to talk about the actual averages here real quick, that the first group earned an average of $16, the second group $54, and the third group $310 a day. And based upon all that data, one of those people were able to earn more than a minimum wage job. But it gets worse. For the 1,151 traders that persisted for 300 days, 97% of them lost all of their money once commissions were factored in. Now, we all know we're going to zero commissions, and the timing of this video could not be more powerful. Because look, some people, different structures, especially ones if you're going to what was it, Schwab, Ameritrade, whatever, or obviously everybody sees every headline that they're dropping their commissions, and even the highest performing trader out of that group earned an average of $310 per day, ended up barely profitable once the commissions were factored in. So how sad are those numbers, right? They're pretty sad. So I wanted to talk about you know, I want to talk about the answers here, but the sad and sorry truth is that most of the day trading stuff out there will not get you to the place of where you want to go. Yes, some could pull it off successfully, just like you read on the internet that some people are cured of cancer by drinking apple cider vinegar. But the overall scientific data put the odds at roughly equivalent of playing roulette. The more you play, the greater likelihood that you will lose everything. So with commissions dropping to zero, I want to actually show you the intelligent way to approach trading so you don't get sucked into all of this nonsense. Yeah, zero commissions are going to save you several thousand a year. Eh, My goodness, is it going to save me money? But look, now that you're going to zero commissions, I did a video talking about the true look of a bear market, one of the more popular videos here. It was just, I think I put it out last week, basically saying that, people tell you never to short a dull market. But if the market is increasing in volume, does that mean you're supposed to short an active market? It's funny, but because nobody will ever say the contradictory thing. Most people are perma bulls. Most people only enjoy trading bull markets, and that's fair enough. I made the majority of my money going long. The majority of people who made the majority of their money going long are the majority of traders who made money since 2000 till now. The majority of traders, believe it or not, who made their money going short, the vast majority of them were shorting small cap names. Were shorting small cap names or very actively traded since 2008. Then they were shorting whatever stocks they were shorting in 2008. So that's the majority of traders over the last 20 years who made the majority of their money. So if you're one of those people um, who were trading more bullish than bearish, myself definitely being one of them, I don't really believe I have a bias, even though. Yes, the vast majority of my money was made going long or buying stocks and buying options as opposed to shorting. But just with that being said right here, I want to actually give you the answer. I want to actually give you the answer for how to overcome this. Now, a lot of you guys out there and gals are going to be thinking that you need to trade more now that you have zero commissions. It's a sweeter deal. Imagine, and I guess analogically, I could use my favorite food, which I love a lot more than it loves me, is pizza. Pizza is Mark Melnick's favorite food, and I have not had a slice of pizza this year, just to give you an example, because I know that again, I love it a lot more than it loves me. So with that being said, imagine that instead of needing to spend, what is it, $2 to $3, depending on where you're buying the pizza. Let's say it's $2 to $3 a slice. Let's just, for easy numbers, call it $3 a slice of pizza, which is, I would guess, pretty standard for a single slice of pizza, considering you don't buy a pie and get a discount. Um, Imagine that you're walking by that pizzeria now, and it says free pizza, as much as you want to eat. Now, some people would say, wow, I have to go into that system and gorge as much down as humanly possible. But we all know that there's only so much we can eat before we just literally cannot fit another bite down our throats, and you probably are going to feel like a boulder hit you in the face, and you're probably going to be like in a complete and utter food coma, unable to move, and your body yelling at you saying, "What have you done, Mark? You just ate three pizza pies. It was free pizza, but it's not free, right? Because it's going to take a toll on you." The funny thing is, with day trading and the type of it's actually funny because when you actually eat some food you like, what happens is the receptors in your tongue and the sensors for your tongue and actually send signals to your brain that releases serotonin. And the same thing is done when you actually day trade, when you're actually in a position, when you actually gamble, when you actually pull a slot machine, or you actually spin the roulette wheel. Believe it or not, most of the thing you're craving is just the spinning of the slots or spinning of the wheel. It has actually very little to do most of the time with the results. Even though it feels good to win and feels bad to lose, you still got your dopamine rush. You still got your serotonin flood actually just by spinning the wheel. So we are moving into an environment where a lot of you guys need to understand that your commissions are going to, depending on where you are going to be dropped to zero. And I'm going to talk about still the importance of prop trading with that, because prop trading commissions are obviously not going to go to zero, but you're going to need to use your leverage. And this is going to be a very important part of the market. And this is where I don't want people to get destroyed, because we have been helping so many of the prop traders out there become successful and actually be able to pay their fees and everything while making money. And again, going back to the word symbiotic, try to create a symbiotic relationship between the prop firm and the individual trader where they could both succeed. The thing is about trading, nothing should actually change with your trading. That is something that people are going to say, I need to find new strategies. Now, all of a sudden, Mark, if I can make a nickel, that makes sense because I'm not paying any money. If I can make a few pennies and take a few thousand shares, I should be doing those trades more often now because I don't have a commission rate. It's not going to tag me on the commission side. And that was really the only thing that was preventing you before, psychologically, subconsciously, and mentally, from actually doing those sort of trades was your actual commission structure. And what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot more gurus hyper scalping. You're going to see a lot more traders hyper scalping. You're going to see a lot more people just looking for those quick trades. And somebody who started my career as a hyper scalper successfully, still to this day, knows the pitfalls and knows how dangerous that is for the average person. The truth is, your trading strategies should not change whatsoever. The only thing that I see changing for people following the Newsbeat live methodology is that your stocks are probably going to be giving you larger moves. It's probably going to be easier to make money now than it ever was before. I actually have to take you back to 2002. I believe that was the introduction of decimalization from fractions in the market. When decimalization first came out, I was able to make a few $100,000 within like a couple months, just hyper scalping thousand share positions in and out all day. Just buy thousand, sell thousand, buy thousand, sell thousand, trade three, 400,000 shares, doesn't matter. And I would make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in a matter of months, and it was great. But then things adapted. I will tell you, this is going to be the most important shift in the market since decimalization. And people are not talking about that. Nobody's talking, oh, free commissions, I'm going to save money. Hoo-ha! Yeah, me too. I get it. Believe me, we all get it. It's great. But what's actually happening is the robots are going to be more active, and that's what nobody is talking about. Now again, I think this is going to be the best case for a bear market coming in with the elevated volume, because if they say don't short a dull market, you've heard that, don't short a dull market. Does that mean you short an active market? And the answer is yes, absolutely, because if you believe you're not supposed to short a dull market, you have to believe that um, you should short an active market. And this is more of a macro view. I'm not going to be one of those, take both sides of the situations here where I could, for example, look at the Qs and say, okay, well, the low of the Qs was 180, 182 last week. And if we go below there, I'm going to be super duper bearish. Or if we shoot above, let's see where the high last week was, 190.59, and we shoot through 190.59, I'm going to be so bullish. No, this is not more of the short term look. This is not using some garbage 50% strategy based on, moving averages or volume or pivot points or the VWAP that I have up here or pivot points, or it's not any of that stuff. Has nothing to do with whatever this chart looks like. It's just more of a fundamental fact that I humbly believe volume is going to increase substantially. Now, some people actually said to me, Mark, well, if humans are, we all know humans don't do the majority of the volume. It's the robots, Mr. Melnick. So why would humans increasing their volume make, make a big difference in the volume of the market? And the answer is very simple. The robots actually react to human trading. So when you see, humans buying something, there's a lot more volume that follows through from the robots. So with all this human buying and selling based on this commission rates, you're going to see the robots, the algorithms actually start doing more volume. And believe me, the smartest people definitely know this already. The people running the algos, the Goldmans making who knows how many billions this year off their algorithmic trading network, but they obviously know that volume is going to increase substantially. And the truth is, these firms could not be happier. It's kind of funny because, most people are like, well, how is like Schwab and TD Ameritrade and Interactive Brokers, how are they're going to lose such a large portion of their money? And in actuality, they're actually going to make more money because they actually make money based on the deposits that come into their firm. But here is the point. Here is the point of how you could avoid this trading scam and whatever. Follow methodologies and be modest. Just follow methodologies and be modest. The harder part about this now is, you know, you're going to have to ignore 99% of every single setup you see that you like. That is sort of the mentality in the Newsbeat live room. Don't trade everything. Just keep a high hit rate and avoid it. That's how you're going to become successful. And we've had such wonderful things coming in from people, like from a member RP said on Friday, consistency is what we should all be working towards, Mark. I've said it before, you have helped me be consistent. This week, I am 12 wins, 2 losses. The last month, 49 wins and 17 losses for 74%. And I've controlled my losing trade. That's what I've always struggled with. So thank you again, Mark, for all you do. Um, when I see things like that, that is the right mentality of what you should be doing. I don't really think you should be trading more based on free commissions, and that's going to be the hardest thing for a lot of traders. And I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see a new wave of traders just completely wiped off the map when these commissions go to zero because they're going to overtrade. It's not going to cost, you know what it's like? You want an analogy? Crack costs money. I've never done crack in my life. If you're watching this, 99.99999% you didn't either. Most likely, right? What do you think would happen if crack was being sold for free as opposed to I don't know how much crack sells for? Do you think there would be more crack users, more crackheads, or less crackheads? And the answer is obvious. There would be more crackheads, just like with my free pizza example. There would be more people eating pizza. Even those people who shouldn't be eating pizza would end up eating more pizza. The same analogy is here for trading, that you are going to be more likely to want to, you're going to be more likely to trade more. If you're watching this video, it's going to be a huge incentive. Your brain is going to be telling you that you should do it. You're going to look at things saying, I can make 5, 10 cents. Maybe you would ignore the trade before, but now I have free commissions. Maybe now is the point in which I want to do it. If you're able to follow what we're doing here in the Newsbeat live room and do the same things, I believe humbly that you'll be making more money before. I'm thinking that I'll be making more money than I did before. And I want to talk about a couple of the news flow names we've been watching recently. So on Friday, there was, the Grubhub, which we were buying here. You know how many people, were buying in this Grubhub at around 53.90, 53.95, 54, 54.05, and the stock popped up 40, 50, 30, 60, 70, 80 cents right here, and they took their money, and that was it for the trade. And then they watched the stock go all the way up to what did it hit? 57.18. People like, oh my God. And then if you watch my $100,000 trade idea example, I think it highlights and encompasses what I'm trying to say perfectly. With chatter here on Roku, loaded the boat, equivalency of over 30,000 shares of Roku via options for me. As you know, I just watched the video. It's called my $100,000 trade idea. And I watched Roku, with me not being in a position at this point, go to $109.25. And it would have probably netted me at that point probably around 130, $140,000. But, I had to settle for less than $10,000. And a lot of people would be like, less than 10,000, whether you made, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, $9,000 mark, that would have been like amazing. But I'm not here to boast P&Ls. I'm not here to show you like, look what I do well, or look how much money I made. I'm actually here to just share the mentality with you that if you were able to make a dime, 20, 30 cents, as opposed to um, let's even call it $6.50. Let's say there was a $6.50 move from Roku where we bought it approximately. I'm saying that if you were happy with 25 cents, you'll be fine. Same thing with Grub that ended up ripping all the way up with the market, of course. Again, look at what the market did over the past 2 days. So this is where we had Roku. This is where we had um, Grubhub, and you'll be looking in hindsight, and a lot of people will get like FOMO and psychological toxicity saying, I could have held, I could have been up this amount of money. That's why I felt it was very important for you to show you how much I could have been up had I held perfectly my entire position and sold out near the tops, which is, of course, very unfeasible. And the truth is, I would do Roku the same way I did it before as I would do it again. And you have to take into account a lot of the names you sell. Were you really predicting the market to shoot up? In a geopolitically charged environment with everything happening domestically and overseas, and a new headline that's shooting up the market. Oh, new US China trade war data, and the market shoots down or up. Do you want to be sitting there subjecting yourself to that sort of risk? And the answer is generally going to be no. So, what I try to do is I try to really keep things as simple and as easy as humanly possible. Because I know that if we're able to just jump in the market and jump out, we will have the best results. Again, as I said, I'll do the Pepsi challenge any day of the year. The Newsbeat Live members are by far the most consistent group of traders I have ever met in my entire life, by far. And I've been doing this for 20 years. And I've been failing as a broadcaster early on in my career for 12 years, even though, according to the firms and everything, I probably was massively successful because of the business I was bringing in. I'm judging myself on renewal rates of traders. If you're following Mark Melnick for a year, would you follow for another year? And if the answer is no, besides for unknown circumstances, God forbid, I know people getting ill and whatever, you have to take care of a parent or a neighbor, a friend, whatever it is, like that aside, you need to be able to see yourself growing to the potential of where you can make money if you're sticking around. And if you can't do that, you probably would have left the trading service. And that's how I judged myself. So I'm judging myself. People are like, "Oh, who's Mark referring to when he says these things?" I'm talking about this guy right here. And I will tell you, to get to where we are today, took a lot of work, took a lot of changing, took well beyond what my results share. I've had $1 million years where, more than $1 million years where I'm just not really doing good for the people around me. And I could come out and just, say, well, it's you who's the issue. I could just show you my results, and I could show you a Sharpe ratio which would blow the socks off your feet, and I could show you all these things, and you could be like, wow, this is the most consistent trader I've probably ever seen in my life. And you could say, wow, that's incredible. But if I cannot help you, what does that do for you? So that's why I do these videos. I'm actually here to genuinely help you. I'm actually spending my time on a Sunday to genuinely help you. I want to bring you to that next level. So I have to, you know, I found out that just giving the answers, which a lot of services do, yeah, just I'll send out, buy here and sell here and stop loss here, and that just does not work. It never did. It never does. Not in the long run. Just back to the study. If you want to do it for a day or a week or whatever, yeah, you could get a lot of good results and bad results, but you do it over time and you are destined for failure. And that's what I'm trying to change here. I know that if we want to just take these news flow names, and we are going to get a ton of it, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting such great news flow, option activity, things that are creating very lucrative trades. And if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, well, Mark, I don't want to do the quick trades. I'm more of a swing trader, Mr. Melnick. Well, okay. Fair enough. Why don't I show you this? And there are environments that are very conducive for swing trading. In fact, I could say that I make most of my money swing trading. And, but we're talking about active intraday trading here. And if you look at, forget about my trend lines, which we know how effective they are. Just look at the month, look at the last 4 months of the triple Qs. Look at July, August, September, and where we are in October. And you'll realize by looking at this that we really didn't move. Not much, not comparatively to, these 4 months or these 4 months. We're pretty much, this is a monthly. Each one of these bars represent a month. We're pretty much grinding. And if you're sitting there within these months trying to buy off Fibonacci's or RSI's or moving averages, and again, I don't use RSI or Fibonacci. I do use moving averages. I do use pivot points. I discovered in other people's opinion, some of the most consistent ways for using the VWAP to make money. I haven't seen anybody be able to replicate the consistency rate that we do using that. And just by utilizing these things, you are going to be a successful trader. If I could tell you, if you are like Mark, and again, I can't ever tell you to buy or sell a security, not legally, nor would I ever dream of telling you that. But if you came to me and my son came to me, and considering he's not, you know, a 4-year old, but he's actually older, and he came to me and he's like, Dad, what should I do next week as a trader? I've been struggling in this environment. What should I do? What should I do, Daddy? You know what I would tell him? I would say, you know what? Just lock down the profits and I don't care where it goes. I want to see if you can cross the street. I don't care if you could run the New York City Marathon. I don't care if your idea would have propelled you 26 miles. I just want to see you cross the street. And if you could do that and you could show consistency doing that, I will show you how to become a millionaire trader. Now, yes, we do have swing ideas and other things, and this video is more focused for those who like to intraday trade. Those are the people who are going to be helped out by this market. So, another thing is going back to how do I get out of this scam? Again, I did a video showing the 43 to 57% scam. Here's the problem. Let's say you're batting 50%. Let's say I have a strategy that works 50% of the time. I could show you records of, making money. My average winner is larger than my average loser. It makes sense. The problem with trading is math doesn't play as big of an effect as people feel. If I made $1 million last year trading, that doesn't mean I'll make $1 million this year trading. If I'm batting 50% on a strategy last week, doesn't mean I'll bat 50% this week. I might bat 40% or maybe even 60%. Maybe I'll do better or worse. However, the math will always change because the market always changes and the market always evolves. So when you're actually talking about percentages and people are starting at that 43 to 57% ratio, if it goes down, whatever, margin of error, if it goes down a lot, you could be in a horrible situation. And if it goes up a lot, you'll be in a happy situation. But trading is not about having ups and downs. Yes, you will have losing trades and winning trades, but trading is not about going up and down. In fact, if you look at my equity curve, it just looks like this. slowly up, a good day, up, good day. Traders who follow our system will have the smoothest equity curves ever. And that is something that nobody talks about. Smooth equity curve. Write that down. SEQ, smooth equity curve. That is the key to happiness in trading. I have never met somebody with a smooth equity curve that was an unhappy trader. You want to know the key to happiness? Having a smooth equity curve. I can't believe I used that term before to you guys. I don't even remember using it. Maybe I have. If I haven't, my bad. I should probably talk about it more often. You need to have a smooth equity curve because even if I make $1 million and my equity curve is like this, like spikes up and down, but even going higher, you're going to be so mentally expletive that you'll never get to where you need to get. Bottom line, you're going to be so mentally screwed that you're bound to fail and trip up over your own feet. You need a smooth equity curve. I would much rather be the trader making $500 every single day and coming out at the end of the year with whatever, $100,000, $125,000 P&L. I would rather be that person than somebody making $1 million, but I made 100,000, lost 70, made 120, gave back 50, made another 70, gave back 80, made 90, made 30, gave back 70. I would much rather be that first person, even if it made me 10 times less money, because I know those people and the majority of people out there who get caught on that whipsaw roller coaster are not going to be able to maintain that journey. It's like the tortoise and the hare. It really goes back to the old school thing where the tortoise, yeah, got ahead of the hare, was sprinting forward, passed out of exhaustion on the side of the road, couldn't finish the race, while the tortoise just kept going on and beat the hare at the end of the race. And I know that with what we do here, if you're just focused on consistency, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of traders who are batting over 70%. And if you're using a strategy that, somebody bats 74% on and it goes down a little and it goes down to 64%, let's say when you're having a bad week, or up to 84% when you're having a good week, you're going to be in good shape. If you're doing a strategy that works 50% of the time and you're having a bad week, you're going to be miserable. You're going to suffer psychological toxicity and you're going to have to fight to try to cure yourself from that. So what I'm telling you is trading does not have to be the sucker's game. On the prop side, I want to actually encourage you to actually, again, I can't legally tell you what to do, so let's use my son example again. Don't you love compliance? My son came to me and said, Daddy, I'm a prop trader. There's free commissions all around me. Should I leave the prop and go free commissions? No, son. No, you shouldn't. You should stay. The reason why you should stay is because you have the buying power. And if you have somebody like the Newsbeat Live Room, son, which I know you do because I paid for your membership in the room, you're going to be able to take size on the quick trades and make your money. You know how many traders there are in the room here? Like, oh, I made 700 on this, 500 on this, 1200 on this, $2,000. I'm done. 20 minutes into the day. I'm out. Have a good weekend. Have a good day. And I would tell them to utilize that buying power. A lot of people, you have to realize if you're sitting there with the $10,000 account, your $10,000 deposit at a prop firm is going to get you a lot more buying power than your $10,000 deposit at a retail. Oh, sure, you won't have the fees involved, but you're going to need to be, as a prop traders, it's kind of funny. You have no choice but to use your buying power. That's why it's there. It's funny when a retail account with my buying power, I could just sit there and be like, don't really care what I do with it. Don't really care. I'll use it when I need it, and I won't when I don't, which is 99.99999% of the time. But as a prop trader, son, since I'm speaking to my son over here, um, you want to use that buying power. So if you put up 10 grand and they gave you, for example, whatever it is, uh, I've seen 10 grand turn into 100. I've seen 10 grand turn into 500. I guess it depends on other factors that I'm not going to be talking about now, like consistency and how well you did and track record. I don't want to go into that. But I would say, let's say you had like $200,000, $10,000 account. You know how easy it would be for like my son, and again, I'm talking like that because I don't really, you know, to take a Grubhub when it's right over here, a $50 stock, let's call it, and just throw in 3,000 shares, have it pop after you buy those 3,000 shares, have it pop whatever, 60 cents and catch 25 cents and just sell it out on the way up here because we had breaking flow and say, okay, well, that's cool, Dad. I made 25 cents on 3,000 shares. I made 750 bucks. And I'll turn in and say, son, you just made 7.5% of your money with your $10,000 deposit. And right now, with this activity coming, I would actually make a very good argument that it would be one of the better times to look into prop trading because your buying power is going to be more useful now than it was before. So it's not really about becoming more active. In fact, you should fight everything to do to become less active, but you should be able to use more size on those trades that you do decide to take, son. And I do think that will help you out better to make a lot of money and have a successful career as a trader, son. So with that being said, don't get sucked into the I need to do a lot of trades thing. Try not to trade longer than you had. Don't get excited about this free commission thing, saying that I have to, you know what it is. And I'm guilty of this when I go into an all-you-can-eat buffet. I'll leave you on this note. When you go into an all-you-can-eat buffet, and it's like I go in there, I have one goal in an all-you-can-eat buffet. I have one goal to make sure they lose money on me coming in. I wish their business success. I hope they prosper. But with my appetite, I go into that all you can eat buffet and I'm like, you will regret taking my $20, $30 for letting me through your door. You will regret that decision, not for the rest of your life, but yeah, jokingly. Like, I don't really like come in with like, malintent. But the point being is, I actually was at an all-you-can-eat place in Brooklyn called Rakusin, and very delicious food. I'll show you, and I'll show you where it is. Rakusin, yeah, here it is. Just show you the Google search. So I actually went there on Friday, and like nice place, right? Like nice little Japanese place in Brooklyn. They have sushi, this, beef. So what I did was I went for the beef ribs. I went for the beef, and I'm going to share with you my mistake, and it's going to apply to trading. I went for the beef ribs there, and they give you these little sheets on these little menus, and you mark off how much you want. So we come with a bunch of friends. You sit there and you mark off all the things you want to eat. How many orders of beef ribs do you guys think I ate there? Anyone want to take a guess before I tell you? Write it in. Ken 10, Daniel 10, Jose 15, Anna 4, AJ 12. I'm not saying this proud. I'm actually insulted at myself. 42. 42 orders. I didn't get anything else off the menu. I had a soda. I had 42 orders of the Kalbi steak. It's like these little chopped up beef ribs. They're small. And I had over 40 orders of it. And I felt fine. I was happy. Do you realize how bad I felt the next day, which was yesterday? I had this on Friday. Do you realize how bad I felt the next day? I felt horrible. And it's kind of funny. The sign here actually is like tells you that you're supposed to eat, like order as much as you want right here. Like we're sitting right by this table here. Actually, this sign here says eat all you can, but you'll be charged for anything you don't eat. That's actually that sign right there if you didn't know. And the whole point of what I am saying is When I was put in a situation where I could eat as much as I want, I probably ate five, six, 7 times as much as I want. When it comes to trading, and I'll feel a little like garbage, and I was pretty much, unable to play a lot with my sons on Saturday, and it ended up hurting me in a different way. And I felt horrible about that. I really did. So I just wanted to share with you the shortcomings of what I could do. And by the way, again, I'm only speaking praise about the place. Here it is, Recusing. Look, all you can eat, right? All you can eat in Brooklyn, right? And I'll tell you right now. Yeah, and I did impress the waitress who was serving us there. She was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." All you can eat. I will never step in an all you can eat buffet ever again. And if I do, I'll just order one meal and walk out as early as possible. And I will time myself next time to not make that mistake again. The worst thing you could do with all you can trade, it's like all you can eat in the market with free commissions. And the prop structure will actually um, encourage discipline. Don't underestimate actually paying fees as a prop trader because it's actually going to encourage discipline now because you're not going to want to take stupid trades. When it comes to the market, do not do the all you can trade buffet. It is going to end up causing you psychological damage and issues that you would never want to experience. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy this video, if you do want to know how to truly trade consistently, if you're sick and tired of all the scams that Wall Street throws at you, if you're sick and tired of losing money and you want to get with a group of people, the largest group here of T3, of people who do find consistency and success, there is a link in the description. You could go ahead and click on it. It has offers to a phenomenal deal that is ending very soon. Um, and definitely take advantage of it. Definitely surround yourself with people who walk the walk, who talk the talk and walk the walk when it comes to not trading too often and trading with phenomenal results and consistency. I hope you guys enjoyed the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. I said Newsbeat live. You see that? I'm still suffering from food hangover. No, I hope you guys enjoyed this Newsbeat show. Happy trading, make money, and I will see you guys tomorrow on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast and tonight for another Newsbeat show at 7:30 p.m. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.